Now listen, today we got to talk about something very different. So we're going to talk about that food out there that's fire. You know, the food that it's either from 11 to 2:30 that you can't live without, or it's those late nights when you leaving the club and you just happen to be cruising down the street and you see that trailer over there lit up with a lion, and you like, yeah, I need to get some of those wings or something. So we're going to talk about that food that's fire. So you already know that, right? Because you're the owner. So you got people pulling up to your window, hitting you on Instagram, telling their coworkers about you on a Monday morning. See, the food is not your problem. So why is your calendar so inconsistent? Why isn't anybody tapping in with you? Why are you stacking up reviews on Google, but the revenue still looks like you playing hopscotch? Why do you have a fan base but no business? Let that sink in. Why do you have a fan base but no business? You know, I've sat back for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and I've watched some folk that can really cook, really get down in the kitchen. I'd be like, man, I gotta get it going, man. Start a channel, do something, get some revenue going. I'm all about building up the entrepreneurs. And a couple have taken note. You know, I'm not saying I'm the reason they took note, because I'm definitely not. You know, but those conversations is had because that's what entrepreneurs do. We bounce ideas off of each other. All right. So let's think about it. Most food truck owners that I have had the pleasure of being around and talk to are stuck in the same trap. They pour every ounce, everything that they get into the product and not into their platform. See, they mastered their recipes. They forgot about how to reach out to all the people. And 95% of our businesses that close these days are doing the same thing. Listen, man, the days of when I was growing up, them days is over. You could turn on the TV and see an infomercial and boom, there it is. These folk want their stuff right there, right now. Most of them is on Instagram. Most of them's on Snapchat. Most of them's on YouTube, Facebook. Young ones is not on Facebook as much. Okay. So you got to be clear. You got to have an understanding. They built that loyal lunch crowd, but skipped the system that turns their crowd into consistent and a scalable income. Now, some people do. Some people still will come out on a regular basis. But here's the truth that nobody in the industry has the gall to tell you. Your food truck doesn't have a food problem. It has an attention problem. And until you fix that, you'll always be chasing your next event, your next lot, your next permit, instead of building something that feeds you back. So today, we're going to fix that. You feel it, deal me? I know you do. Let's get that thing cracking.
Welcome to Podcast for Profit, the show where podcasters become CEOs. I'm your host, Tony Porter, and every week I'm giving you the strategy, systems, and game you need to grow your audience, monetize your message, and build a seven-figure podcast business. No fluff, no cap, just real results. Let's get into it.
Hey, yo, welcome back to Podcast for Profits, the show where we stop trading time for likes and start turning your conversations into currency. And you know who I am, and if you don't, I am your host, Mr. Tony Porter, your podcast monetization strategist and your business coach. Today, we're diving into something a little different. We decided to pivot just a tad bit. I want to show some love to the industry out here right now that's growing rapidly. And I need you to stay with me because this episode is very, very, very ready for every entrepreneur out there who's got a great product, a loyal following, and still can't figure out why money is not matching the energy that they put in. Okay. So the industry we're talking about today, we're talking about the food truck owners of today. But if you are a barber, a hairstylist, a plumber, a nail tech, a braider, a chef, anyone that's a skilled business owner, this episode has your name written all across it. I mean, it's stamped like the USDA template that you see everywhere. This for you, man. But before we start real talk, we got to do this real quick. If you're tired of grinding every weekend and still feeling like your business is running on vibes instead of a system, pay attention. Because the strategies we're going to break down today are simple theories. but they work. See, I did this case study because I've come across so many YouTube videos, and I'm seeing people, a year selling funnel cakes and popcorn geniuses. And there's a guy out of Houston that makes God somewhere around about roughly almost 50 to 60K a month. Again, a month selling a food truck at night, selling out of his food truck at night. So you got to understand, again, these aren't just theories. They're actual frameworks that the people who have these trucks have put into place. And so when I started chopping up and started asking questions, I started looking around and I'm seeing, like, there's this one particular food truck, and shout out to my guy, because it's his family. And I've been trying to get to it, man. They got a food truck that is popping. And I'm going to tell you how I know it's popping. Because one particular day I'm cruising through the neighborhood, and he's a barbershop owner. And I looked up, like, earlier I had rode through and I seen him. I pulled over and we chopped it up for a little bit, and everything was super quiet. But I came back through there about 3 o'clock, and you would have thought that we was at the park. Cars everywhere, people lined up around the block, grabbing some of this good food. Now, I was on a mission and I couldn't stop, but I told him, man, I ran into him again, him and his lovely lady. I told him, I said, hey, man, I'm going to make it to that food truck, bro. So tell the peoples I'm coming. I don't play about that. I don't play about food. The food looked immaculate. So this is a young fella that grew up under me, and I have so much respect for him and his family and his team that he works with. So yeah, I'm going to support. I got to support. But you have to understand, man, the food truck industry is a profitable business. We got to make sure that we do it right. And I'm not saying they don't do it right, because I'm not talking about them. I'm supporting them. I'm talking about the others who have the aspiration. Maybe you're an entrepreneur and you want to get into the food truck industry. That's who I'm talking to. All right. So what we're going to cover today is why most food truck owners are invincible online, even when their food is so incredible. And the exact system you can start using today to build an audience that a business that becomes a super high earning business. All right, y'all ready? So let's get into this, okay? We can't play around, man. We want to make sure that this is one of the main things that we do. All right, so let's talk about the attention economy is real. I say that again, and I'm going to say it for the ones in the back. The attention economy is real. And some of y'all haven't figured it out yet because you're not in it yet. Here's why I say the attention economy is real. Back in the day, if you was out here doing your thing, your thug thizzle or whatever you was doing, and you wanted all the attention, if you was doing what you do, playing sports, hustling on the streets, whatever you was doing, in the neighborhood, you wanted the attention. You had the flyest car, you had the loudest music, you had the brightest rims, the biggest rims. You wanted everybody to see you coming, right? So back then, it was the same thing. It's just a revolving door. The attention economy, though, now is people are not using it because they kind of want to stay private. And I understand why they want to stay private. Private life and business life is two separate entities. So you got to understand, if you've ever been on one of the platforms and you've posted a beautiful plate of food and you got 47 likes from people who will never buy from you, this section is for you. Because see, here's the thing, man. A lot of people are quietly behind the scenes doing what they do best. They make great food. Again, three of my partners that I work with now, because I don't have permission to use their names, I'm not going to do that. But these 3 young fellas, actually it's 4 to 5 of them for real. We just go keep it a buck. It's about 5 of them. But because at the time that I'm shooting this episode, I don't have permission to use their names, I'm not going to use their identities. But they'll know who I'm talking about. These fellas throw down. I've seen food come in, and before I could get my little paws on it, not the way the little buddy be doing that thing, you know how he be flicking his little wrist, dropping the pepper. Before I can get my hand in the pot to grab a wing or two, a rib, a steak, ribeye, it's gone. That's because everybody that gets in the building before I do got their paws in the pot. And that's fine. But I did get a sample one day. I kind of snuck. One of my partners was over. He had his little food. I kind of slid over, sat down, and we was talking. I grabbed a wing and I heard him ringing. Hey, boy, I'm going to kick your butt. Hey, boy, I'm going to eat this wing and I ain't thinking about you. But because we have this type of relationship, it wasn't no big deal. But I would never do that on a regular basis. We had been going back and forth about this food for a minute. So this is what we do. But here's what's happening. You got people out here running brick and mortar businesses on wheels in a digital attention economy. That means people can't find you online before they find you in person. You're invincible to people. Why would you actually spend money? Why should they spend money, with you if they don't know who you are? And so, like I said before, growing up in the hood, growing up in West Louisville, I watched a lot of talented people pour everything into their craft. We had so much talent. And I'm not knocking the younger generation, but y'all just keep coming in trying to act like y'all erasing talent. You had barbers who would go to shows, take 3 or 4 hairstylists, models, just to show out, just so they could get the trophy. We had the best cooks in the hood. We had the best barbers. Can you imagine going to the barbershop? I want to say, this is before COVID hit now. You would go to the barbershop and you would get in there. And this is the only place. The barbershop to me is Switzerland. All right. And what that means is it's just neutral. I've been in the barbershop where there have been gang members from different sets getting haircuts from different barbers. Nothing happens. Now, I'm not saying they're in there chopping it up because that's not what they're doing, but nobody's in there fighting. But you can still go in the barbershop, man. Listen, you might walk in there and walk out with a pair of Jordans. Walk in there and walk out, your cars out there getting detailed. Walk in there, somebody down the street done hit up one of the spots and come back. They got baby powder, they got deodorant, they got food. Listen, we sat in the barbershop one year right before Derby, which is one of the biggest events we have. And I kid you not, a guy came in and said, y'all need anything? Somebody said, yeah, man, everybody in here need a steak. I said, I bet. Dude left, came back. Dude had 25 steaks, 10 minutes, bruh. Like, he literally hopped in his whip, drove to the store, came back. He done went in there and jacked. I said, boy, only in the hood, but you gotta love it. But nowadays, man, this food truck industry is out there. But if don't nobody know where you are or who you are, why should they spend with you? And the barbers, the mechanics, the detailers, man, listen, the boosters. Forget it. We're just gonna tell it how it is. The boosters. That was their job. You have people out here making decent money, but never building wealth. Because the difference between being a skilled individual and being known stood out. Now, if you was the D boy, they knew who you was. But that was automatic. Yeah, we know who that is. All right. Before I got with the barber that I have now, I used to go to a female barber. Man, she was the coldest in the city with them clippers. If you went to the barbershop on a Saturday, and this is before appointments came into play. Now I love the way my barber is so professional about things. But if you were to go to the barbershop on a Saturday morning, you bet not had nothing to do until late on at night, because it really depended on who was your barber. Like I said, my barber, yeah, it was guaranteed. If you don't get there before the doors open, I was slick though. I used to call my people, hey, you need a ride? Yeah, come get me. Shoot, I get in there, pick my barber up at 8 o'clock, get to the shop, 8:30, first one in there. Be like, man, why you get her? So I picked the barber up. Dummy. But you got to understand, you got to be able to scale your business. And a lot of people are just hood stuck. Some people want to stay stuck. I don't like being stuck. And what I mean by stuck is they're comfortable. Nowadays, barbers will cut 4 heads a week, but they're charging for amenities. All right. They're charging for amenities. Like a barber now, the new age barbers, and I'm not taking nothing away from them, but they want to put the line on you. And I've seen this I haven't seen it here in my city. I've seen it on TV because there's a YouTube video where they're talking about how the barbers, like back in the day, a haircut was $25. My haircut's still $25, but matter of fact, I owe my barber $5 because when I pay, but he's being surcharged, and I need to get that to him. Yeah, I really do. Yeah, I do. I don't like to leave my barber sitting there. That money he worked hard for. To him, he doesn't mind. And I literally forgot because I texted, but I need to get that to him anyway. I didn't mean to get off topic there. But what you got to understand is this. They're charging right now, barbers are, anywhere from $75 to $150 for a simple taper. You want to get all the amenities, you might walk out at $300-$400 for a cut. And this was on TV. The food truck industry, man, I'll pull up on a food truck in a heartbeat. Like there's one, I love tacos. Oh my God, the nachos that they were serving was just immaculate. And then I start looking for them. There's a food truck out of Bardstown, Kentucky. They make the best bourbon jam hamburger. Now, I don't know how they got to the events that we was hosting at the job, but they're there every year. And I'm going to tell you what changed everything for a few of these food trucks. And this is when I asked these questions, these was the questions and these was the answers. See, they stopped waiting to be discovered and they start showing up with intention. See, if you constantly waiting, you're always going to be left behind. See, the attention economy works like this. Attention comes before the revenue every single time. Your audience has to know you exist. They have to trust you. They have to think of you. It's almost like you want them to stalk you, but in a good way, not that crazy way. We want you to find me on the food way. Be my mouthpiece. They want you to be able to say, they looking. They want to be able to say, Snap Crackle's going to be over on 34th and Broadway between 5 and 9. They got the best lemonades. They got the best popcorn. And now they got funnel cakes. So you want these people to be your mouthpiece, right? You want to be visible. That means your job is not just to cook great food. Your job is to document the journey, educate your audience, and entertain them in a way that builds loyalty before you even give them a bite to eat. See, when you start dealing with the entrepreneurs, you got to be able to say, hey, this is what you need to do. Suggest it to them. Give them a reason to say, hey, I appreciate that. How can I get more of this knowledge? So for right now, all I need you to do is just do one thing. Subscribe to the channel. We going to get you there. We definitely going to get you there. Hold on, because I got some other stuff I need to tell you because knowing you have an attention problem is only step one. See, we got to talk about the tools that could solve this particular problem. And it's one most food truck owners have never even considered. Now let that sink in. So let's talk about the platform you're sleeping on. Now you've been posting to Instagram. You've been tagging your location, using food hashtags, throwing up some reels, and it's working. Well, sort of, kind of. But the one platform that could change everything, your entire business model, if you start showing up on it consistently, think about it. What are you checking out now? Because see, when I started Podcast for Profits, people looked at me like I had two heads. Tony, a podcast for food truck owners? Yeah, think about it. This is a conversation I'm having with somebody. I said, you got to think about it, man. I'm going to pivot for a minute, man. I'm going to start talking about this. Because here's what I knew from experience. The entrepreneurs who documented their world, who talk about their process, their story, their why, those are the ones who build a movement and not just venues. So when I started chopping it up with these podcasters, and I was like, man, what food truck you go to? Oh, man, I'll be checking out, bruh, downtown, right there on 4th Street, right there between Jefferson and Market. They have on Wednesdays the food. I'll be like, yeah. I said, now I've rolled past the hospital a couple of times, seen a couple of food trucks out there. He said, yeah, man, some of these spots be far. But that's just because I'm riding by. I said, what happens if they start educating people on what they do? I said, okay, let me tap in. So I went to a buddy of mine. I said, hey, man, you ever thought about doing a podcast for food trucks? He said, man, are you out your mind? I said, yeah, is. I said, you have to think. Starting a simple podcast, talking about how you are building your business from scratch. What do you think that's going to do to your revenue in the next 6 to 8 months? You think your audience is going to start doing? They're going to start showing up, and they're going to tell more of their homeboys and homegirls. Not because you're a lucky individual, because you gave them a reason to choose you over everyone else. I said, ponder that situation and then come back to me. While you're pondering that situation, I'm going to ponder this situation over here. See, a podcast or even a consistent YouTube channel is the most powerful trust building tool for the food truck owner to use in 2026. Here's why. When someone hears your voice for 20 minutes a week, they feel like they know you. And people buy from people that they feel like they know. They got a trust thing going on. You could do a show called From the Window and talk about your journey. The recipes you've tested and the ones that failed, and the ones that you got on the truck that succeeded, the permits and policies, along with the politics that go along with getting to this point that you have gotten to. The hustle of building from a zero type following to the guy out in Houston who runs the soul food truck probably has 300,000 followers. That's worldwide. People come in from out of town just to get to their food truck. I'll give you a prime example. They might not, I don't know if they have a food truck because I haven't tapped in with it here lately. A Trill Burger. It's 8 people from where I work at that has already said they hop in a plane, they going, the first thing they're going to do when they get to Houston is Trill Burger. See, content makes people emotionally invested in your success. And emotionally invested people become loyal, returning customers. See, the menu gets them to the window. The story gets them to come back. And that's what we do, man. That's exactly what we do. And over here with the podcast for profits, we want to bring attention to this booming industry. Because you never know. I could be talking about some other service provider next week, which I probably will. But I might decide to stick around for this food truck thing for a minute. Because guess what? This is one of the hottest topics out right now. You liable to ride down the street and see a food truck posted up somewhere on somebody's corner, somebody's lot. So what I ask you to do right now is I'm asking you to follow us on YouTube, subscribe to the podcast either on Apple or Spotify. Whichever one is your favorite streaming platform, that's the one you do. Because I know now you might be thinking, Tony, I heard you. I don't have a whole lot of time to do podcasting. I'm running a truck. I hear you. And see, in the next pillar, I'm going to show you exactly how you can do this without adding 10 hours a week to your schedule. So you got to have a content stack, right? So we're going to talk about that, the content stack that works while you're cooking. If you've ever thought creating content had to be a full-time job on top of your full-time job, you've been doing things wrong. See, I built my content system around one simple rule. I learned early, one piece of content should do multiple jobs. See, when I was doing coaching, I would film, when I was training, I would film long-term training videos and chop them up and just send them on out. See, I learned firsthand that every entrepreneur is already setting on more content than they realize. The problem isn't the ideas, it's the system to capture and deploy. You have a multi-million-dollar studio in your pocket. You pay for it every single month. So here's the content stack I want you to implement. It starts with one anchor piece, a short podcast episode, a YouTube video, or even a weekly Facebook Live from the truck. 10 to 20 minutes of you talking about something real, your journey, a lesson you learned, a behind-the-scenes moment of the week. You doing something that involves your business. From that one piece, you now have to pull 3 Instagram reels for the best moments, 5 Facebook posts with some key points that you made, an email that you can send out to people, a Google business update that links back to you. That's one recording session, 10 pieces of content every week. Who said you had to work 50 hours? Nobody. That's the system. That's how you stay visible without being a full-time content creator. That's how your truck keeps moving, even on the days you are not parked. You don't need more time. You just need a better system. That's all. And when you stick around and you start following us on YouTube, the channel, Podcast for Profits TV, you'll understand we talk about some of these things. We're going to talk about some of these things. Okay, so now that you got the system and the system is starting to work and people can find you, here's the last piece that you need to add to that puzzle. I'm going to show you how to turn your audience into actual revenue, not just followers, not just likes, but them dollars that you truly need to stay up and moving. All right. So the conversion of your food truck has a funnel, and we're going to talk about it right now. So you got the fans. Now let's turn them into the business. And this is where most entrepreneurs hit a wall. They've built an audience. They've got engagement. People love their brand, and they still don't have predictable revenue stream outside of the truck itself. Now, when I first got into this coaching as a business coach and a podcast monetization strategist, I had a client who had a massive local personality. People loved him. The income was dependent on showing up, just doing local events, things like that. They had zero system to generate more money while they was off the clock. Now, we changed that. We changed that with one thing, a funnel, not a complicated tech stack, not a $10,000 software system, a simple pathway that moved people from I followed this truck to I just bought something on autopilot. And here's that food truck entrepreneur funnel in 4 steps. Step 1, attract. We're going content, podcasts, your reels, your story, YouTube videos. And that's what gets the strangers to notice you. Number 2, capture. Man, lead magnet. Man, create something free. If you got people coming, man, give them a free sample. Fit that into your budget. Let them taste the secret sauces that you are coming up with. Hey, here's a good one. Cook some wings. If you're a person who makes wings, cook some wings and say, hey, I want you to try my new Chipotle bird, whatever. Let them try it. And then ask them to give you their best review or their best opinion on that. All right. Good. For that, you want to get their email. And here's why that's so important. The money is in the list. Now you can nurture them weekly, not sell to them. You want to build the relationship, share your stories, drop some values, make them feel like they are part of the crew. And when you convert them, make them an offer like a catering package, a VIP event slot, some merchant, follow the truck membership is an exclusive thing. Your email list is the asset that converts because those people already trust you. And when those people trust you, guess what? They gonna get their partners, their friends, their girlfriends to do the exact same thing. So your social media following is rented. Your email list is owned. Build the thing that you own. All right. Now, we're going to talk about that, man. We got to talk about that. We're going to talk about that on the channel. So that's why I'm asking you to subscribe. Subscribe, click that bell notification, follow us on Spotify or Apple, because the more you learn, the more you can become a better entrepreneur. Now, all right, let's take us to the crib right now. If you've been listening to this episode and you keep nodding your head, that feeling means something. That's recognition. That's your gut telling you, like literally talking to you, what we just talked about. The attention gap, the content stack, the funnel. That's the missing pieces to your business. And I want to make it easy for you. All right? Listen, no matter what you're doing, you can grab the conversation to currency checklist or the client generating podcast blueprint. Either way, it's going to help you attract clients on autopilot. But guess what? There's no charge for it. It's free. I'm going to leave you the description down in the show notes. We're going to get that thing cracking. All right. Become a part of the YouTube community, man. Subscribe to the channel. And here's what I need you to take from this episode. Your food truck doesn't have a food problem. You solved that years ago. What you have is the attention problem. And attention is solvable. With a consistent platform, a simple content system, and a funnel that works while you're sleeping, you can turn your loyal lunch crowd into a scalable, sustainable business. That's not theory. That's the formula. Now go back. Look at your content. Look at your content this week. Are you showing up with intent? Are you building an audience? Are you just posting and hoping that someone finds and gives you a shout? Are you documenting your journey? Or are you just leaving it or living alone? See, entrepreneurs who win and they win in the next 5 years aren't going to be the ones with the best product. They're going to be the ones with the best story and the best system to tell it. See, we turn conversations into currency over here. Now, go turn yours.